all your school rugby, all in one place. This is Next Gen 50.
Alright guys, welcome to Next Gen 15, and in today's video, as the topic suggests, we're going to be looking at the recently named South African Under-20 Academy squad. So if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as bell notification, and as soon as new videos are released, of course, you'll be the first to know. So, it's a new era for junior Springbok rugby with the appointment of Bafana Nhleko, and I think the thing is people don't really know a lot about this coach, but he's a coach with a lot of vision, and he did some really great work with the Lions junior structures, guys. So I think it's very, very exciting. I think in terms of seeing the selections and the vision, I think it's going to be a far more expansive, entertaining style of rugby. Also, what I like, I'm just looking at the composition. I think to myself, great, brutal forward pack with some mobility, very speedy backs. I think this guy's going to be playing rugby to entertain. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, there are very interesting selections, but with all these sort of selections, there's some very controversial omissions. You're never able to keep everybody happy, but by all accounts, it's definitely an exciting team and packed to the rafters with talent. Now, we have been told that additional alignment squads will be selected. So for any players that you feel should have a look in, we're told that there will be opportunities for them. But we cannot confirm this with 100% certainty. So first we're going to do a composition analysis, and then we're going to take a look at the players. Now, a lot of the players we've spoken about a lot before, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on that. So in terms of positional composition, 41 players selected in total. If you want to press pause and take a look at the composition in total, I'm not going to be naming each position plus the number of players. So just press pause if you want to take a look at this, and we'll continue to the next slide. In terms of youth level representation, as you can see, Grey College are the most represented school with 5. Then you got the usual suspect, Paul, Jim, Paul Rest, Selborne, Gasfontein with 4 and 3 respectively. Then you can see the other schools, they've got 2 and 1 representation. Very interesting. And then in terms of where they played their Craven Week rugby, the vast majority in the Western Cape. I think that much is obvious. This is definitely, the Western Cape is definitely a region where most of the talent is located. Then you can see followed by the Sharks, the Cheetahs and the Bulls and the Lions, then the border region, and then finally Griffins, EP and Boland had 1 rep each. In terms of senior level representation, for a union that's going through some financial difficulties, it's still amazing how Western Province is able to maintain and recruit talent. They lead in the pack with 12 players, and then the Sharks, Lions and Bulls each with 9 players, and then 1 from the Cheetahs. So South Africa is fast becoming a 4-union country. It used to be a case where you'd have the talent a lot more spread out, but I think with globalization, players going international, it's been stuck at 4. And this is what makes recruitment very, very hard as well, because you've only essentially got 4 teams for the top tier talent to go, and they really have to compete hard with each other. So the cream will rise to the top, and you can assume that the rest will be plying their trade overseas, unless we get some private investors in for the other unions. But anyway, I digress. In terms of union transition, 56 of the players, for want of a better word, are imported. In other words, they didn't play Craven Week at the union they are now, but 44% did. I wouldn't read too much into this, because obviously you look at the guys from Border and the Griffins and EP, they can't stay at their home unions, so they actually have to go to other unions. So overall, very balanced. You take a look at the Bulls, for example, they recruited a lot from their local catchment area, which I think was fantastic, and Western Province were able to maintain quite a few of their players as well, which was quite nice. And then in terms of the age composition, very, very interesting, 45% under 19 and 55% under 20. It makes sense, since they're not going to be competing in the World Championship this year, so you want to basically get the under 19s ready for next year. While still taking the core and key players of the under-20 group and having training camps with them. So it does make sense. I think if there was a World Cup played this year, maybe the composition would be a bit different, but I do feel that this year's under-19s are a very, very talented group. So in terms of the selections, the prop Blaine Golden, he was an absolute stalwart at Glenwood. Really rate him at the Sharks currently. Okutle Sieni and Sibosiso Shongwe are both at JP, highly rated players. Tilman Niverhout, Grey College prop. You can ever forget that match against Porus where he really stood out. I'm delighted for Friedrich Walbach. He's someone that I did sleep on. I didn't speak about him a heck of a lot last year. Highly rated player and absolute monster in the scrums. I'm very proud of him, and I think he'll be very happy with his selection. And of course, Jan Hendrik Wessels, we've spoken about him a lot. I don't think there's much more that needs to be said about him. Absolute class player. Already playing senior rugby. Hookers, had to be Goosen and Andre Hugo Venter. I think that these guys are going to have many matches against each other in the future. From a personal perspective, I'm absolutely delighted that Bupa Vokazela managed to come through. Someone that's from the Connect Academy. So he's had to fight his way to the top and to get basically recognition at this level as an under 19. Just goes to show his talent, and he's a very mobile and powerful hooker. I sort of see him as a hybrid between Joseph Dwebe and Bongi Umbonambi. I really think he's got all the tools to become a Springbok, and he's got the work rate. So I just can't wait to see him develop further. Fantastic player. Very proud of Pupa. Locks, Connor Evans has to be there. We named him our number one prospect for good reason. Dylan DeLue, his work rate's improved a heck of a lot, I'm told. So glad to see him there. Ronald Ludwig is absolute class. Fantastic player. Awesome to see him there. Same as Simon Miller. Very hard to stand out at a smaller school like St Albans, which is not very well known for its rugby program. And what's nice is that there's mobility here. So Connor and Simon can actually, they can transition between the loose forward position and the lock position as well. So, they're basically utility players, which is fantastic. And Ronald, I think, really big future in the game. One of the best locks I've seen in a long time to come out of Bulls country. Loose forwards, very exciting stuff here. So you got George Cranier, he's already playing senior rugby at the Cheetahs. Wadile Hlope, Maritzburg Old Boy, very highly rated for good reason. Keke Murabe, I rate this guy so much. We actually had a chat recently, and just before we knew that this year's Under 20 World Cup would be cancelled, I said to him, I know you're going to be in the Under 20 squad, so please make sure that we don't get another third place finish. You got to win it this year. And he was like, we're going to work hard, we're going to win it. So he was very confident, and what I love about Keke as well is that he was at Volcom Gym, which is like, they got a great rugby program, but not like one of the biggest in the countries. And so many teams were after Keke, and he refused it. He wanted to stay loyal to his team. He wanted to stay loyal to his coaches. And I just think he's got a big future in the game. He's very down to earth. He's not ego driven, and it's going to steady him, good in the future. Then Ronald Bouton, spoke about him a heck of a lot. Heinrich Brissot type player. He really reminds me a lot of Heinrich Brissot. Really likes to mix it up in the breakdown. He's going to cause all sorts of problems there. Sia Mukela Ndlovu, he's at the Lions now. He was a Northwood boy. And, like Simon Miller pretty much, to stand out at a smaller school like that, even though Northwood's program's improving a lot, it just says a lot about his talent. A lot of people are very excited about his development. And then another player very delighted for, Sia Ngiza. When we did our video last year where we said he was going to be in the SA Schools team, I predicted SA Schools team, we got a couple of messages with guys, well, what about this player? What about this player? It's like, Sia didn't get a chance to show what he can do in 2020. And the selectors have agreed, this guy's a very talented player. But I think the big thing with him is his work rate. He just doesn't stop working. I think he's just got such a big future in the game. And very humble young guy as well. So I'm very excited to see Sia develop. Jared Taylor, it goes without saying, he's a monster. He's I think he would have basically gained worldwide notoriety, I think, at this year's Under 20 tournament. I mean, the guy's just so physical, and he doesn't take shit, excuse my language, but this is a fact. He doesn't take shit from anybody. I love the physical side of his game, and the no nonsense attitude and all the rest of it. He's still young, so that aggression and all the rest of it, he can make it work. He can channel it in the right direction. But I think, you give this kid 3 or 4 years or something like that. When once he's done with varsity and all the rest of that, He's going to mature, and when he matures and his all-round game improves, which it will, the sky's the limit for him. He's going to be a very, very special player. They're talking about special players. Zonke Vumazonke, someone we spoke about a heck of a lot for last year as well. The first ever player of colour, captain for Grey College, shows you how highly he was rated over there. He's definitely got big leadership potential, and basically I really feel like he's a Sia Khaleesi-esque player with a lot of leadership skills, and been from the Eastern Cape as well, not having an easy life and really working hard to get to where he is. Very special kid, very, very special kid. Fantastic that he got the recognition that he deserved. Halfbacks, Bobby Alexander, another guy we've spoken about a heck of a lot, just absolutely infectious. Love the way Bobby plays the game. He just plays the game with joy and passion, and everyone around Bobby gets motivated when he's on the field. He just brings that joy out, team spirit, all of the rest of it. You have to have him as part of your squad. And then his understudy in 2019 was Bradley Davids. And Bradley's also a very talented player. I think he would have walked into the SA Schools mix last year, potentially. He's moved over to the Sharks, so no longer an understudy to Bobby. Probably going to be competition in the future, and it's going to be great to see. I think they'll bring out the best of each other. Nico Steyn, our MVP winner last year. Nico's a fantastic talent. The first time I saw him play was against John McGlashan at the World Schools Festival, and within 10 minutes of that game, I just said, this kid's special. He's definitely got all the ingredients to go really far in the game, and very humble, good kid as well. Then Sasha Ngomazulu. Sasha's a superstar, waiting to be unleashed. The amazing thing with him is, with all that talent, people don't realize how hard he works. He's basically on the field every day, practicing his kicking. He's training all the time. I really think Sasha's someone that's going to have commercial appeal as well. He's going to have cross-code appeal. I just think he's got a big future in the game, and I think he's going to be a superstar. And he's also a player that's just got that natural talent and that just that ability to enthrall the crowd. A very, very special player, Sasha. Then you got Brandon Wilkie from the Sharks. Brandon is someone that's flown under the radar quite a bit. But he's a utility player. So, you can play the fly-off position, you can play a bit of centre as well. And I think he's a very interesting player, very entertaining, very quick feet. Spatial awareness is absolutely fantastic. I definitely think he deserves his place over here. And then, Cade Volhiter, guys. What's there left to say about Cade? Cade's transition from junior rugby to senior rugby has just been plain ridiculous. His goal kicking, this is out of this world. For his age, it's just ridiculous. I can't even put it into words. You almost have to make up a new word for his goal kicking ability. When the rest of his game catches up to his goal kicking, that's when you're going to have a world-class fly-off on your hands. Him and Sasha, both at Western Province, both absolute class. One's going to have to either move position or make way, or you can work on a super sub system. But to be a coach and have to choose between those two talents, good luck. Thank goodness I'm not a coach. I'm just some dude on YouTube. Centres, Colton Bunnies from the Bulls, very, very talented player as well. Gasfontein, youngster, can play fly-off as well. Very, very interesting young player. Tyler Boks from the Lions. Tyler was outstanding for Paul Boys. Moved over to the Lions, very highly rated within their structures over there as well. Very powerful runner. Mambo Mkize, we named Mambo to the World Schools 15 last year for good reason. The guy's an offloading king. I think he's an outstanding inside centre, and he's got size, he's got skill, he's got everything. He's definitely going to be a superstar. And when these people put down the selections, if they could just use the name Mambo, it would be easier for branding purposes, you know what I mean? And Ngobi Mkize is a bit hardcore for some of the white folk. Then next you got Kanan Moody from the Bulls. Boland Landbou youngster, also a very interesting player. Didn't get to see too much of him, but I'm definitely going to be following him in the future. I've heard good things about him. Silinga Stradum, very interesting. I saw him more as a fullback, but I like the idea of him as a centre. He's a big boy, very powerful runner, tree trunk legs. I I liked him as a fullback, but I get where they're going. I understand where they're going with putting him in as a centre. I think he could be a very, very effective battering ram, but he's not just a battering ram. He's also great at finding the gap, and his spatial awareness is outstanding. Then Henko van Wyk. What's left to say about Henko van Wyk? I mean, this guy's so special that a certain other YouTube channel's basically done like 20 highlights of reels on him. We've been wanting to do a highlights reel on Henko for a long time, but unfortunately this other channel can't stop doing highlights reels about him, like every month. So, he's got some super fans out there, and for good reason. I mean, Henko's an absolutely outstanding talent. No, I don't want to be that guy and, put pressure on anyone, but if I have to compare him to someone, in terms of what I've seen throughout my life in rugby, I really see Donnie Gerbe in this guy. I know it's a big call. I know it's a massive call, but I really, really see Donnie Gerbe in Henko van Wyk. I really see it. I just think he's going to have an outstanding future. He's so exciting. Another one of those fantastic players off the Monos production line. And we will be doing a highlights reel of Henko soon. We just got to give it a bit of a break. Like I said, another channel's just been going crazy on those highlights, like so many. So we've wanted to do it, and we're in process of doing it. So we'll get there, and then you can understand what we're talking about. Very, very outstanding player, Henko van Wyk. We got the outside backs. You can see here they just went for pure speed. I mean, Dalvin Blood. He's at Western Province, but as far as I'm aware, he's signed to Saru for Sevens. Outstanding player, a lot of pace, a lot of talent. Go look on YouTube. There's a lot of videos out there of him. He's a very, very exciting player. He can just make something happen out of nothing. And then you got Geraldo Flusk from the Bulls, a very exciting player at Gasfontein. Very pacey wing, was one of the leading try scorers in the country. Keen Gallant. Drosdy are really producing some quality players. I really like what they're doing in their backline. Their forwards, especially the front row, they've produced some very, very outstanding big, strong props in recent times. And I'm very interested to see what's happening with the Drosdy program. I think they're going to be a top 15 school on a regular basis very soon. Very exciting to see what happens over there. Then Kerwin Gertze. Of course, we've spoken about Kerwin a lot. We named him to our World Schools 15 for good reason. He's outstanding. He will be world class if he continues his development. You can't train what he has. You either got it or you don't got it. You know what I mean? He's got it. He's got it in spades. So Kerwin, we've talked about him a lot. I don't need to spend another 10 minutes talking him up. His skill in the field will do the talking. Matthew Jacobs, he was at Pole Gym with Kerwin. And Matthew's another guy that's a very exciting player. We named him as one of our top prospects in the class of 2020. I saw him play at the World Schools Festival. He wasn't a regular in the first team in Pole Gym in 2019. Obviously, Swanepoel was just ahead of him, but an outstanding player nonetheless. Very exciting runner. And I think if they managed to have a season last year, he's another one of these guys that would have really had a standout season. I'm really excited to see him develop further. I think him and Kerwin can do some real damage together. They just understand each other well, instinctively. They're like brothers, basically. Then Duron Kuvot. This is someone I was so happy for. Duron is a very down-to-earth, good kid. Just very, very good youngster. And we're chatting to some people, and they said, like, at the beginning of last year, there were concerns because there wasn't a lot of offers for him on the table and all the rest of it. But he trained hard. He did his talking on the field, and he eventually got signed up. And very, very proud of him. For him, he's just an example to all young players out there, because if you're not getting bites on your contract and you're feeling that you're not feeling confident in your ability and all the rest of it, you just got to carry on going. And you like Duron. I mean, now the guys in the under 20 squad is an under 19. From not having any big contract offers to being graded as one of the best young players in the country says a lot. And to still maintain your down to earth nature and your work rate, I'm super proud of him. This couldn't have happened to a nicer kid. And I hope Western Province realizes they've got a gem, a hidden gem, so to speak, and I hope they polish that gem. And then Mtungwa Mapanselo from the Sharks, another Selbornian. Selborne had Jared Taylor, Huisson, Zwillen Darber, Bursey, a lot of guys that were like overshadowing Mapansela. And, it wasn't fair to him to have all these superstars around him because he's a superstar in his own right. Very, very high work rate. But he's much more of a player that, he's much more of a team player than shows off, like focuses on individual brilliance. So while that's fantastic in a team construct, for your individual brand, it can sometimes be a little bit difficult, if you understand my meaning. So for him to get rewarded just shows you that the selectors have gotten things right here. They're looking at a system of play rather than, someone that stands out individually like some other players do. I think there's a fantastic balance in the squad. And then finally, Keenan Wenzel from the Bulls. I just loved watching this guy play. He can step like nobody's business. Just could snap ankles at will, basically. And, I think the Bulls recruited very well in terms of their backline. And he was definitely one of the most exciting guys. I remember seeing him at the World Schools Festival. Some of his step-in was just unreal. Absolutely unreal. So, yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thanks a lot for taking the time to watch us. Let me know what you guys think about the Under-20 squad. I know that there are a lot of you that have commented already on Instagram that there are a lot of players missing. A lot of you guys have mentioned players like Nabu Sekoi, Quan Horn, Jordan Hendrickse, Franco Knutzer, a lot of players. So leave the names of those players that you think are missing below. Let's have a discussion. But do remember that what I've been told is that this is a lineman camp and there will be other lineman camps. So we could be seeing other talents, in the reckoning in the near future. But for me personally, I'm very excited. I'm excited about the direction they're going. I'm excited about the squad composition. I'm very excited the level of talent that's coming out. And I'm super excited with Bafana as coach. I think you guys are going to see some very, very enterprising and entertaining rugby. And hopefully in the future we can get rid of that third place curse because we are better than third place. We got some of the best youth players on the planet. And I look forward to seeing them step it up in the near future. As always, don't forget to click that subscribe button as well as bell notification. And catch you on the next one, guys. Cheers. Bye.